What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video and some news here again today. The Toronto Maple Leafs have re-signed Travis Dermott. What does this mean for Dermott? What does this mean for the Maple Leafs? And what does this mean for the roster? We're going to be looking at all of those things in this video. So if you are new, make sure to subscribe. Join the squad. I'd love to have you here. I'm going to be pulling up a ton of information here for you guys. We're going to be going through everything that we need to do. And yeah, let's pull it up right now. So, as you can see right here, the Toronto Maple Leafs have re-signed Travis Dermott to a one-year contract extension. Now, in all of the projections that we've had, myself, Downtown Stephen Brown, and basically any Leaf fan or hockey fan or anybody in the media that talks about contracts had Dermott signing a deal anywhere from $1 million to $1.3 million. Now, I'm not sure if that would have changed a little bit had it been a 2-year deal. But Dermott didn't have the best season this year. He was injured at the beginning. When he came back, he wasn't all that great. He never really just found his groove. So signing this $874,000 contract here is really good for Dermott because, he gets a chance to bank in on a better contract next season. And he gets to obviously get some good money. I mean, anybody making this amount of money in one season or in 1 year, regardless of what job it is, it's good. So it's good for him to be making that money. He's going to be able to bank in on a better contract next year because, we're expecting him to play really well. I mean, there's a high ceiling for Travis Dermott. For a lot of people, they expect him to be, a guy who's a bottom or a top 4 guy and consistently in a defensive core, regardless of what position, left or right, and he should definitely be an NHL caliber defenseman. So he needs to play up to this contract, and I think he will. So it's good for the Leafs too. It's smart for their cap situation, which we will be going through in a second. So just to go through this, the Toronto Maple Leafs announced today that they have signed Travis Dermott to a 1-year deal. Of course, like we said, $874,000. Dermott, who is 23 years old, and it also happens to be his jersey number, recorded 11 points, 4 goals, 7 assists in 56 regular season games. So not the best offensive season for him either. And he wasn't all that great defensively, but in the 1920 season, of course, before adding 1 assist in 5 games during the Leafs qualifying series against Columbus. And of course, this was right before the actual playoffs would start because the Leafs got bounced in the play-in. The Newmarket, Ontario native has 41 points, 9 goals, and 32 assists in 157 NHL games over 3 seasons with Toronto. Dermott was originally selected by the Maple Leafs in the second round, 34th overall of the 2015 NHL draft. Now, I want to look at some of his numbers like we've gone through here. He's not a small guy, 6 foot, 205, 23 years old. Just looking at his career numbers, in his first season, 13 and 37 games. Then in the 18-19 season, he took a little bit of a step, 17 points in 64 games played, and then 11 in 56. And he didn't really have a good season. I fully expect him to be a lot better this season, and not just point production wise, because he's not going to get power play time. He's not going to get a ton of minutes. But I expect him to get a lot of offensive zone starts. I wouldn't expect the Leafs to have him starting in a lot of defensive positions. I think they want him to be more of an offense-driven guy. But I'm never expecting his numbers to be crazy. I just want him to be sound defensively, because we know he's capable of playing a pretty decent two-way game. So that's what I think a lot of Leaf fans are hoping for, and that's what I'm definitely hoping for. Now, I've already done some tinkering with this lineup here, and you can see $291,000 in space. And I've also called up Pierre Engvall and sent down Nick Robertson, which I'd really like him to play, and it's still a possibility that he does. I've also sent down Travis Boyd. Now, the Leafs also need to re-sign Joey Anderson. Barabanov is still down here as well. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be upset over the fact that guys like Barabanov and Robertson aren't on this roster, but there's going to be a few paper transactions where the Leafs are going to be calling guys up and, trying to manipulate the cap as much as they possibly can, and I'm sure you're going to see it. And also, it's not a bank that, these guys play every single day. Like, what happens if Jimmy VC comes to camp and he plays terrible? Well, then you got to replace him. What happens if Pierre Engvall does the same thing? Well, then you send him down. You send these guys down because they could be buried. Injuries, knock on wood, there could be an injury. But I have Zach Bogosian as a scratch. Now, they could also, again, via paper transactions, there's going to be some sort of maneuvering here. But, any given night, you might see Dermott or Bogosian, swap out. Maybe there's a Justin Hall trade still, which I've talked about a little bit, but I still believe there could be something there. Again, maybe there's a Kerfoot trade still, which I think the Leafs would like to hold on to him. But this defensive core is much better than was last year. You've got Muzzin and Brody, but obviously we're going to swap this out because that's probably how it's going to play out. Riley and Brody, Muzzin and Hall, and Lettinen and Dermott. Now, there also is a possibility that Lettinen could play his way into a top 4 position. You never know. This can be maneuvered around. But the Leafs said that they want Dermott to play the right side, even though he is left-handed. I know some people are probably looking at this and going, why is Dermott on the right side? But this is probably where he's going to be playing. And like I said, the Leafs can swap out Zach Bogosian for Dermott, or maybe Mikko Lettinen doesn't impress, even though I do believe he will impress on the NHL level. And again, like I said, Justin Hall, still a chance that he could be traded. There still could be work done up here. I think these top 2 lines are pretty well set in stone. They're going to give Mikheyev another chance. I think they want VC and Kerfoot to get a chance to play with each other. And then this is a big 4th line. These guys are not, short guys that don't do any hitting or physical stuff. And, I like all the skill and everything like that, but the Leafs have mixed in some bigger guys that are a little bit physical. And don't Kerfoot is a guy too that will get in there and throw some hits. I think people don't understand how good Kerfoot really is. He's had some injury trouble. Before he was in Toronto, he really never had that trouble. So, we're praying that he's healthy this year because he's got a lot more to give than what he has shown so far. You're also going to notice no Rasmus Sandin or Timothy Liljegren. Again, it just depends on what the Leafs do with Justin Hall. It depends on what they do with Pierre Engvall. Even with Dermott and Bogosian. But at least there's depth because now it's Riley, Brody, Muzzin, Hall, Lettinen, Dermott, Bogosian, plus you have Rasmus Sandin, plus you have Timothy Liljegren. Like, there is guys in this organization now that you can trust. The Leafs really like Liljegren and Sandin and hope that he's going to be both of them are going to be really good pieces for them in the near future. So obviously you have that to look forward to. And then the right side here, you still have Barabanov and Korshkov. You have Robertson here. Nick Patan is still there. Philip Hallander. He's a prospect that people really like, and I've seen some reports on him that he's going to impress. You've got Travis Boyd. You got some good prospects coming up here. People really like Duzak and Hollowell. I think Hollowell's a little higher on that. The goaltending depth, now they have Aaron Dell. There's just a ton to look forward to for the Leafs, and I think that there's a lot more depth than the Leafs have had as of late, and I'm very impressed with how Kyle Dubas has put this roster together. I'm gonna come back over here now, but I am very impressed with how Kyle Dubas has constructed this roster while being able to stay under the salary cap, and I know technically they're over right now, but it's easy. If I can do it just sitting here, obviously Dubas and Brendan Pridham and everybody in the NHL already know how to get themselves to the salary cap where they need to be. We need to trust the people that know what they're doing. We need to trust the people that do this for a living. And I think this Leaf team is going to be so much better. The depth just looks better. The team looks better. There's more physicality. There's a bit of everything on this roster, and that's something that I think a lot of Leaf fans need to be excited about. I really like this contract. I didn't expect Dermott to get less than $1 million. I was kind of hoping, but I didn't think it was possible. I really thought the Leafs were going to try to go on a 2-year deal and maybe just over $1 million. But it looks like Dermott is doing the same thing that Andreas Johnsson did, and it's a prove-yourself contract. Johnsson went out there and scored 20 goals, got us $3 million. Now the Leafs are going, well, do you want to play in a top 4 role? Do you want to be a bigger role, have a bigger role in this team? Do you want to get more minutes? Do you want a bigger contract? That's all up to you. You have to play your way into a better deal. And if Dermott doesn't do it, well, then the Leafs might have to consider moving on from him, or just continually give him a bottom level type of contract and him be an in and out of the system, because Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren are on these guys' heels. They're getting ready. Rasmus Sandin is pretty well ready. Lehtinen is going to get a lot of minutes, and Timothy Liljegren is being groomed as a top 4 two-way guy. That's what they want. So we'll have to see what happens. But if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad. What do you guys think about the Travis Dermott contract? If you are new, like I said, make sure to leave comments, recommend videos, subscribe, like the video, click the notification bell, do whatever you want to do. But hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.